What's up, guys? Ryan from Trash Sports Takes podcast here. Welcome to our NBA 2k22 MyLeague, brought to you by Idiotville Productions. We've got 6 expansion teams, a fantasy draft with current NBA players and NBA legends. We're also going to be creating players based on our team here at Idiotville and based on you guys, our viewers, for upcoming draft classes. Stick around to find out how you can be a part of this. All teams are user-owned, and everything is automated, so that includes trades, contracts, everything else. Salary cap is turned up as high as it'll go. If it's turned off, nobody moves, and that's not fun. We also introduce you Steve the Monster Cockslam. He's an ongoing joke on the show, and we find it hilarious, so we're gonna keep it going. Let's get into this shit. All right, so we set up the league expansion. Starting the regular season, add these new teams. We're going to do user-created teams because I don't have time for that shit. So let's go for the Seattle Supersonics, number 1. Get them back in Seattle. They deserve it. That's where Steve Cockslam started. But we'll see where he ends up this year. So all the way through, we got the Seattle Sonics, the Nashville Phenoms, the Pittsburgh Force, the Las Vegas Aces, the Austin Diablos, and the Vancouver Blizzard. All right, so there we are, 6 expansion teams. We are going to select all teams as user teams. So let's do that. And then we're going to go right into the automation setup. Everything automated, everything. And let's go right into this draft and see who goes number 1. Who's it going to be? And who has the first pick? Looks like the Celtics take LeBron James. The Nashville Phenoms with Michael Jordan. The Heat get Kobe Bryant. So let's keep going through this and see where we end up. All right, so we got the Sixers here. Dwayne Wade. He's a 24-year-old Dwayne Wade, so we're in our prime here. Tony Parker, Chris Middleton, Tobias Harris, and Kristaps Porzingis. That's a good starting 5. Go to the bench now. Malcolm Brogdon, Fred VanVleet. So got some solid backups here. Alton Lister, Danilo Gallinari, Tim Hardaway Jr., Ethan Thomas, whatever the fuck that guy's name is, Stevie Mix, James Posey. Not a bad team for the Sixers. Let's move on to the Vegas Aces. Derrick Rose, number 1. We got Devin Booker, Jaylen Brown. Good starting 3. Carlos Boozer there. Jonas Valanciunas. Terry Rozier. Jeremy Grant. Good bench. Andrew Wiggins. Solid shit. Zubac. Allen. Brissett. Leon Powell. Not a bad team in Vegas. All right, it's Dame time over here in Vancouver. He's with Alonzo Mourning and Domantas Sabonis. It's their big 3 with RJ Barrett and Danny Green rounding out the team. Tyler Hero on the bench. BJ Armstrong. Derek Harper. Got some good point guards there. Fuck. Jamal Mashburn. Cam Johnson. Garrett Trent. Glenn Davis. Kongu. And another name I can't say right now. Defending champions, the Milwaukee Bucks. We got Vince Carter, Dominique Wilkins, Julius Randle for the big 3 there. With Gilgeous Alexander, Christian Wood at center. Andre Iguodala. I want Iguodala. Marvin Bagley the 3rd. Spud Webb, my man. Representing the little guy. Kyle Kuzma, Aaron Brooks, Jordan Poole, Daryl Dawkins at center, Isaiah Roby, James Bouknight. All right, Chicago has a great starting 5 here with Jerome Allen West at point guard, Paul Pierce, Dennis Rodman, he's back in Chicago, with Robert Parrish and Eddie Jones rounding out the starters. Andre Miller, Karis LeVert, Bill Laimbeer, that big dumb motherfucker. Monty Morris, Luke Longley, Antonio Daniels, Bonzi Wells, Kelly Oubre, and Charles Smith. That's Chicago. All right, now my dudes over in Cleveland, we got Chris Paul, Klay Thompson, those guys in their prime with Rudy Gobert, Caron Butler, and AC Green. Not bad. Not bad at all. Doug Christie, Victor Oladipo, 28-year-old Victor Oladipo, Kevin Willis, O'Donnell Foyle, Jackson Hayes, Frank Kaminsky, Corey Joseph, Gerald Wallace, Franz Wagner. Not a bad roster in Cleveland. All right, the Boston Celtics take LeBron James at number 1 overall and surround him with Yao Ming and Kevin Love. They got Mike Bibby at point guard, John Williams at power forward, Bill Walton, that's their backup center. That's not bad. Anthony Edwards, Bobby Jackson, Scott Pollard, Reggie Williams, Earl Monroe, Dick Barnett, Hershey Hawkins, Luis Scola. All right, the Clippers go with James Harden at number 1, Gilbert Arenas, No Chill Gil, Zach Randolph, DeMar DeRozan, and Nick Van Exel. That's a pretty solid starting 5 there. To the bench, we got Roy Hibbert, Al Harrington, Rashad Holmes, Johnny Newman, Del Curry, Raph LaFrance, Patrick Mills, Ricky Pierce, Moritz Wagner. One of our expansion teams, the Austin Diablos, take Kevin Durant, Zion Williamson, Richard Hamilton, De'Aaron Fox, and Dikembe Mutombo. No. That's probably my favorite starting 5 right there. To the bench, they got JJ Redick, Isaiah Stewart, Wally Zerbiak, Eric Pascal, Davion Mitchell, and I dig this roster a lot. Might have to get myself a Dikembe Mutombo Diablos jersey. The Pittsburgh Force have a young Magic Johnson, Jason Tatum, Zach LaVine, Brandon Ingram. That's a young team. Greg Oden rounding them out at center. Larry Hughes, Henry Bibby, Kyle Anderson, James Wiseman, Taylor Horton Tucker, Tony Bradley, and Theo Maledon, Moses Moody, Jalen Johnson. Memphis Grizzlies going with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Sean Kemp, Trey Young, Latrell Sprewell, and Lonzo Ball. I like that starting 5. Tyrese Halliburton, Steven Adams, Paul Millsap, Emmanuel Quickley, Xavier Tillman, Jason Tate, Ty Jerome, and Patrick Williams. All right, our friend Michael Balco's Atlanta Hawks. They have Gary Payton, T-Mac, and Chris Bosh as their big 3 with John Havlicek and Dave DeBouchiere. Big guys. Tom Henson, Kenny Smith, Kenny the Jet, Bobby Portis Jr., Quentin Richardson, Sadiq Bey, Derek Fisher, DeMarcus Cousins, Jay Crowder. They got some big dudes. Dorian Finney-Smith. It's Mamba time in Miami. Kobe Bryant. He's actually teamed up with Ben Simmons. And I don't think those two would enjoy playing with each other. I feel like Kobe would just be like, nah, get rid of this dude. Like, now. Darius Garland, backing him up. Norman Powell. I can't say that guy's name. Brandon Clark. Naz Reid. Lou Will. Gotta love it. Rudy Fernandez. So they got some good depth at point guard. So when they do get rid of Ben Simmons, they got somebody to back them up. All right, the Charlotte Hornets wanted all of the white Eastern European guys. Luka Doncic, Chris Mullin, not European, but Manu Ginobili, Sabonis, and then John Collins is like, fucking finally. Right? Steve Smith joins him. OG Anunoby, Kendrick Nunn, Moses Brown, Markelle Fultz, Evan Mobley, solid rookie there, Jacob Poeltl, and Robert Covington, Jalen Noel. All right, the Utah Jazz have the answer with Allen Iverson. You got Walt Frazier at point guard and DeAndre Ayton at center. I like that big three a lot. You got Bruce Bowen and Kenyon Martin rounding out the starters there. Keldon Johnson on the bench. Jason Williams, Lauri Markkanen, Cody Zeller, Kobe White, Kevin Huerter. Never gonna give you up. I like that team. Not gonna lie about it. Right, moving on to Sacktown. Bill Russell, Amari Stoudemire, Mark Price. Good big three there. Nicholas Batum, Colin Sexton, the young bull. Jeff Hornacek, Doc Rivers, Bill Bradley, Thomas Bryant, Buck Williams, Marcus Morris, Montrezl Harrell, Devin Vassell, Killian Hayes. All right. Starting five in New York is pretty crazy. You got Giannis, Russ, Ben Wallace, CJ McCollum, and Michael Porter Jr. John Wall is a backup. Michael Finley, Nerlens Noel, Daniel Gafford, Derek White, Rudy Gay, Otto Porter, Kevin Porter Jr., Josh Okogie. The Lakers have a sneaky good starting five here with three guys in the 90s. You got Akeem Olajuwon at 98, Draymond Green at 90, and then Chauncey Billups also at 90, with Michael Cooper 85 and Casey Jones at 85, Horace Grant, Mark Aguirre, Joe Ingles, George Hill, so all those guys in the 80s. And then Evan Fournier, Tony Allen, Dwight Howard, Tree Rollins, Matisse Thybulle. It's a good team. Orlando with Kyrie Irving, starting there with Clyde Drexler, Joakim Noah, George McGinnis, and Dennis Johnson. Backing up Kyrie there. And you got Keith Van Horn, Bogdanovich, Ricky Fox, Tristan Thompson, Jeremy Lamb, Nazir Mohammed, Peyton Pritchard, Scotty Barnes, Greg Smith. All right, Dallas Mavericks pick Kawhi Leonard number 1. You got Joe Dumars, Tim Hardaway, Clint Capella at 87, and Charles Oakley at 83. So that's a good starting five. Ilgauskas, Ron Harper, Malik Beasley, all those guys in the 80s with Joe Harris as well. Isaac Austin, Darren Collison, Aaron Gordon, Kendrick Perkins. I hate that guy. Shannon Anderson. Brooklyn Nets taking Jason Kidd, Melo, DeAndre Jordan, Drew Holiday, and LaMarcus Aldridge. And on the bench, you got Nick Anderson, Dennis Scott, Eric Snow, Jordan Clarkson, Brendan Hayward, Cliff Robinson, Eric Gordon, Carl Landry, James Edwards. Denver Nuggets going with Kevin Garnett at number 1. Bradley Beal, Baron Davis, Marcus Camby, and Larry Nance Sr. We got Jason Terry, LaFonso Ellis, Damon Stoudemire, Kelly Olynyk, Buddy Hield, Terrence Ross, Jermaine O'Neal, Richard Jefferson. All right, so the Pelicans going big early. They got Dirk and then Patrick Ewing, both in the 90s, both over 7 feet tall. Rajon Rondo, Mitch Richmond, Mike Miller, TJ Warren on the bench, Yusuf Nurkic, Nate McMillan, Craig Elo, Dennis Schrader, Kurt Thomas, and Obi Toppin, with Mel Counts and Denny Advija. Indiana Pacers go with Tim Duncan and Marc Gasol. So the big guys at top two spots there: Sam Jones, Jamal Murray, and Mikal Bridges, Kemba Walker, Vinnie Johnson, Steven Jackson, Brooke Lopez, Brent Barry, Taj Gibson, Tiago Splitter, Howard Isley, Steve Novak. So there is a new team in Nashville, the Nashville Phenoms, and Michael Jordan happens to be on that team with Serge Ibaka, Sean Marion, Mohamed Abdul-Rauf, and Willis Reed as a starting five. And then the top pick in this year's draft, Cade Cunningham, Laguns Dort, Jonathan Kuminga, Mohamed Mobamba, Malik Monk, Kenyon Martin Jr., Saban Lee, Kevin Looney, Zeke Naji. Detroit Pistons go with Nikola Jokic at number 1, Paul George and Pascal Siakam for their big three, young LaMelo Ball at point guard, Miles Turner at center, backup center, DeAndre Hunter, Dan Majerle, Jonathan Isaac, I don't know if I said that right, Jalen Green, Jalen Suggs, Devontae Graham, Anderson Varejao, Josh Jackson, and Brian Russell. We got Dr. J and the White Guys over here in Toronto. Julius Erving is the number 1 pick with John Stockton, Jerry Lucas, Brad Daugherty, Gail Goodrich, Detlef Schrempf, Spencer Dinwiddie to the rescue, and then Danny Ainge, TJ McConnell, Al Horford, Sidney Green, Ed Davis, Josh Hart, Bruce Brown. Houston Rockets going to Steve Nash for their first pick. Big David Robinson, center. Antoine Jamison, Byron Scott, Allen Houston, Tony Kukoc. World Be Free. Mason Plumlee, Dylan Brooks, PJ Washington, Chuma Okigi, Daniel Gibson, Marquise Chris, and Corey Kispert. Your Seattle Supersonics are back with Stephen Curry at number 1, Kevin McHale, Peja Stojakovic, Nikola Vucevic, and DeJounte Murray. I like that team, actually. Monte Ellis, Dante DiVincenzo, Andre Drummond, John Paxson, Chris Boucher, Duncan Robinson, Cliff Livingston, Stacey King, and Isaac Okoro. Brent and Liberty's favorite team, the San Antonio Spurs, get Oscar Robertson and Wilt the Stilt. Then you go Doug Collins, Terry Porter, and Larry Johnson. I like that starting five. Shane Battier, Harrison Barnes, Robert Horry, Steve Kerr, Michael Thompson, Larry Nance Jr., Tyrone Hill, John Konkak, Josh Giddey. Phoenix Suns coming off of their trip to the NBA Finals with Anthony Davis, Elgin Baylor, and Bam Adebayo. Ja Morant and John Starks. That's a hell of a team. Wendell Carter. Muggsy Bogues, my dude. Hassan Whiteside. Rui Hachimura. Leonard Barbosa. Hamidou Diallo. McDaniels. Keon Johnson. Kira Lewis Jr. So an interesting storyline in Oklahoma City. You have Joel Embiid. Then the number 2 pick is Isaiah Thomas. You'll find out why later. Bob Dandridge. Jaren Jackson Jr. Gordon Hayward. Kerry Kittles. JaVale McGee. Cole Anthony. Miles Bridges. Bryant Stith. And there it is, Isaiah Thomas Jr. So you got 2 Isaiah Thomases on one team with Lonnie Walker. That's interesting. That'll be fun to watch. Isaiah father and Isaiah son. Let's see how they play together. The Minnesota Timberwolves get their man in Shaquille O'Neal, Big Shaq, Blake Griffin, Ray Allen, Mike Conley as their starting point guard. Backing him up is D'Angelo Russell, so they got some good depth there already. Jerome Kersey, George Gervin, Aaron McKee, Robert Williams, Otis Thorpe, Antoine Walker, Randy Whitman, Shake Milton, and Rick Robertson. Portland Trail Blazers have Larry Legend, Chris Webber, and Donovan Mitchell as their big 3 with Sam Cassell at point guard. Kyle Lowry backing him up. It's good depth at point guard already. P.J. Brown, Kendall Gill, Avery Johnson, Thaddeus Young, Enes Kanter, Andrew Bogut, Terrence Mann, and Desmond Bain at the Udonis Haslem. Scottie Pippen's drunk ass is heading to Golden State, where he's got Sidney Moncrief, Karl Anthony Towns, Tom Sanders, and Stephon Marbury. Good guy. Met him in Beijing. Who else we got here? Jason Richardson, Rudy LaRusso, Jalen Brunson, Nicholas Claxton, Alec Burks, Cam Reddish, Robert Pack, Precious Ashwa, and RJ Hampton. DC picks up another criminal with Karl Malone at number 1, Jimmy Butler, Paul Presley, Penny Anthony Hardaway, and Jarrett Allen. That is a good team, despite the fact that I fucking hate Karl Malone. David West, Mitchell Robinson. They got some big dudes. Reggie Jackson, Sean Elliott, Marcus Smart, Rafer Alston, Vernon Maxwell, Gary Gaddison, Landry Fields. So that's going to do it for our NBA 2k22 MyLeague fantasy draft. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit subscribe. Also hit that bell for alerts. In the next episode, we are going to introduce you guys to some new free agents. We have Steve the Monster Cockslam. We're also going to throw in some other guys that are not included in the game, like Charles Barkley, Ron Artest. We're going to see where they go. We will also introduce you guys to our team at Idiotville for the future 2022 NBA draft class. Myself, Ryan Seabrust, we got Brent and Liberty, Dill Spears, Ted Brogan, all those guys. We're going to find out what they look like in 2K form, and we'll also have our first taste of gameplay. So stick around. If you want to know how you can be featured in an upcoming draft class, take a look below, and I'll have all the information down there. You can send me an email and include everything you need, and you're in. Simple as that. So hit me up, and I will see you guys in a few days.